In this video, I wanted to see if I could emboss ink splatters using glycerin and various embossing powders. Embossed ink splatters. Well, I found the spritzer did not move the oil-based glycerin as I wanted, so I experimented more with embossed drippage. I combined it with the alcohol ink splatters, and then I found a t-shirt decal I really liked, and before I knew it, I was creating journal pages. The second journal page uses the Staedtler watercolor splatters in addition to alcohol ink splatters. I had a lot of fun doing these experiments. Hi there. Yesterday, or my last video, was on doing these ink splatters with this Tim Holtz air spritzer. And I want to try one more thing using that technique. Several months ago, I did a video where I was altering some pages in this book. It was called The Letter by Richard Paul Evans. And I actually want to get back to this book maybe later in the fall and the winter. Seems like when I enjoy doing these types of things. But the reason I'm going back to these pages is I have used embossing in here. And I did that with glycerin as my embossing base. I put glycerin on the page, painted glycerin on this page, and then applied my embossing powder and then used the heat gun on it. And I did that to the silver and the pinkish color in here. Now, when I got to this page, I discovered that I could do drippage, where I would put my glycerin on the page and let it run down and then emboss it. And I call that embossed drippage. And I'm not very much one for drippage on my page. Drippage meaning where you allow a liquid medium to take its own course down the page and form its own patterns. You see mixed media artists do this a lot. And it wasn't until the last couple years when I started watching YouTube videos that I actually enjoyed doing drippage. And when I discovered I could emboss it, well, I was sold. Another technique that I like on this particular page is this was an old photograph that I had of a mother and her two boys. And the quote that I found in the book was talking about how this boy was, well, actually, he was searching for his mother. He felt like there was a missing piece in his life. And I actually cut out of that photograph a picture of one of the little boys and put him over here. And then I filled that missing piece with the glycerin and embossing powder. And I really like how this page came out. I have gone through here, and at the end I've made a list of pages where there are things that I might want to illustrate this book, but I want to use photographs that I find at flea markets or antique stores or garage sales, anything like that that I can use in the book to illustrate the story, or even just to tell its own story. So this is not a book that's going to get done anytime soon, but I'm showing it to you here because I want to work with glycerin, embossing powder, and the Tim Holtz spritzer. And I'll bet you figured out where I'm going with this. I've already because I'm working in my figurine book. Here I have this figurine book, which is basically a book of graph paper. It's really a nice bound book. I've got 2 of these, and I'm still working in my first one that I started in January of 2013. See, I have 2013 here. And anyway, I have used glazing medium on the back of this page, and it's already been applied and dried, so it's all ready to go. And the reason that I'm using glazing medium is that I want a smooth, shiny surface, a glossy surface where my mediums, and I used inks over here. I'm not going to use inks. I used inks on this page. I'm not going to splatter inks on this page. I'm going to splatter glycerin. And I'm going to see if I can't do something called glycerin splatters, embossed glycerin splatters. So I'm just going to put a couple, and I don't know how much you can see right here. I'm dropping some glycerin on there. Now, glycerin is very much an oily substance, and if I would tip the book and let this drip down, it would find its own path down there. But I want to see if I can blow this, see if it will splatter. It looks like it's moving like the paint would. So I'm not sure. No, but let's just go ahead and well, let's let it drip.